Imagine being told you're not good enough, too tall, too different, not what the industry wanted. Now, imagine proving every single critic wrong, not only becoming a successful model, but becoming one of the most famous and highest-paid supermodels in history. A woman whose influence transformed the fashion industry itself. Today, Gisele Bündchen is recognized around the world, but her journey began far away from the bright lights of fashion, and the path to the top was far from easy. This is the story of Gisele Bündchen. Before the runways, before the magazine covers, before the luxury campaigns, before the global fame, Gisele Bündchen was just a young girl growing up in southern Brazil. Born into a large family, life was relatively simple. Fashion wasn't the center of her world. In fact, Gisele originally imagined a very different future. She focused on school. She spent time with friends. And like most young people, she had no idea what life would eventually have in store for her. At the time, becoming one of the world's most famous models seemed impossible. But sometimes the most extraordinary opportunities arrive when we least expect them. And for Gisele, one unexpected moment would change everything. What happened next sounds almost too unbelievable to be true. Discovered by accident. As a teenager, Gisele was visiting a shopping mall with friends. It seemed like an ordinary day, but among the crowd was a modeling scout. The scout noticed something special. Her height, her presence, her unique look, the qualities that would later make her famous. Soon, opportunities began appearing. But contrary to what many people assume, success wasn't immediate. Far from it. Gisele faced rejection. Lots of it. Some industry professionals doubted her potential. Others believed she didn't fit the beauty standards of the time. For many people, those setbacks would have ended the dream. But Gisele refused to quit. And that decision would prove life-changing. Because one runway show was about to transform her career forever. The breakthrough. Fashion is filled with talented people. But every generation has a few individuals who change the game. Gisele was becoming one of them. As she continued working, more people noticed her confidence and unmistakable runway presence. Then came the breakthrough. The type of moment every aspiring model dreams about. Major fashion houses started paying attention. Industry insiders started talking. Photographers wanted to work with her. Designers wanted her on their runways. Suddenly, the young woman who had once struggled to get noticed was becoming impossible to ignore. And her rise was only accelerating, taking over the industry. What followed was extraordinary. Campaign after campaign, runway after runway, magazine cover after magazine cover. Gisele wasn't just working. She was dominating. Luxury brands saw her as one of the most valuable faces in fashion. Her image appeared everywhere. Her influence continued growing. And as the years passed, she became one of the highest-paid models in the world. Millions of people recognized her. Millions admired her. And countless aspiring models wanted to follow in her footsteps. But perhaps her biggest achievement wasn't fame. It was longevity. Because staying on top is often harder than getting there. Most careers fade. Gisele's influence kept growing. More than a supermodel. By this point, Gisele was no longer simply a model. She had become a global brand. Business opportunities followed. Partnerships expanded. Investments grew. And her influence reached far beyond fashion. This is where many successful people separate themselves from everyone else. They don't just build careers. They build legacies. Gisele understood that fame alone isn't permanent. Creating long-term value is. And that's exactly what she began doing. She transformed her success into something much larger than modeling. But there was another reason people admired her. And it had nothing to do with fashion. The woman behind the success. Despite global fame, Gisele often spoke about balance, health, family, personal growth, and living with purpose. These values helped shape her public image. People weren't simply inspired by her success. They were inspired by the way she approached life. Because underneath the magazine covers and luxury campaigns was a person who understood the importance of discipline, resilience, and self-belief. The same qualities that helped her overcome rejection years earlier. And those lessons continue resonating with millions of people today. Which brings us to the most important question. What is Gisele Bündchen's true legacy? A legacy that changed fashion. Every generation produces successful models. Only a few become icons. Even fewer change an entire industry. Gisele belongs in that rare category. Her success helped redefine what a supermodel could become. Not just a face, not just a celebrity, but a global brand, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, an inspiration. Today, her influence can still be seen throughout fashion. And many of the opportunities available to modern models exist because pioneers like Gisele helped expand what was possible. That may be her greatest achievement of all. Gisele Bündchen's story is about much more than fashion. It's a story of resilience, a story of perseverance, a story of proving doubters wrong. From a young girl in Brazil to one of the most influential supermodels in history, her journey reminds us that success rarely happens overnight. It is built through courage, consistency, and the willingness to keep moving forward when others would give up. And that is why Gisele Bündchen remains one of the most admired figures in modern fashion. If you enjoyed discovering the incredible story of Gisele Bündchen, subscribe to Model Archives for more documentaries about the world's most fascinating models, fashion icons, influencers, and rising stars. And tell us in the comments, do you think Gisele Bündchen is the greatest supermodel of all time? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.